Hi guys, welcome to my Love and Grace with Laurie. Okay, today's subject, let's have great expectations, not fake expectations. What do I mean by that? Well, this is something that has tripped me up a lot in my life. You hear me saying that all the time. There's something that's been tripping me up a lot in my life. But if this has been tripping you up, today's message is really going to help you. I think there are a lot of us that fall into this. And so here's the deal. When you expect people who play a role in your life, like they have some kind of title, some kind of a role in your life, something that they do, and when you expect them to fulfill that role in your life the way you want them to, it sets you up for a fall. It sets you up to fail. It sets you up to feel rejected, or it just sets you up to be frustrated when you're expecting someone who has a role in your life to fulfill that role the way you want them to, or think they should, or need them to. Maybe you have needs and you're like, but I need them to do this for me. That's gonna set you up for a fall. And so now your great expectations have turned into fake expectations, expecting somebody to be who you want them to be, you need them to be, and not who they really are. So this hopeful yet unrealistic expectation has set me up to feel like a victim. It set me up to feel like I was rejected. It's destroyed my sense of self-worth because I've had this expectation. Like I had needs and I needed to be loved in this way to feel like I was loved or lovable. I needed them to do these things. And when they didn't, wouldn't or couldn't do these things, it set me up for a fall, and my sense of self and worth took a hit. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you felt like this in any of your relationships where you're like, they're not fulfilling my needs, they're not doing this way, they're not doing this for me or loving me in this way, and so I feel like I'm unlovable or I'm unloved? And so if you've ever wanted more in a relationship and you have these expectations that don't meet the person's personality or experiences, what they're capable of, it can really set you up for a fall. But all the while that this was happening, here's what my thought pattern was. This is what I was wondering. I was like, how come they don't love me? What's wrong with me? I'm being helpful and thoughtful and kind, so why don't they love me back? Have you ever felt like this? Oh my goodness, this has destroyed me for years. Here I am year after year, and right now, for a while now, just figuring out that the problem was I had unrealistic expectations and faulty assumptions all along. I assumed that they were capable of loving me the way that I wanted. I assumed that they didn't have their own issues or insecurities. That's what I was assuming. I assumed that their personality and experiences should have shaped them to love me the way that I wanted and that I needed. I assumed they could, I assumed they should, and I assumed that they would. So then the big question is, why weren't they? Why weren't they? And the only conclusion that made sense to me was, well, something must be wrong with me. That's what I kept telling myself. Laurie, something is wrong with you. I'm not trying hard enough. Try harder. I'm not loving them enough. Love more. I'm not giving enough. Give them all you got and then give some more until you've given so much of yourself that you have nothing left. Then, will that be enough? I don't know why all my loving them didn't make them love me back. But it seems like the harder I tried, the more hurt I became, the more rejected I felt. Rejection is devastating. I just wanted to belong. I wanted to be invited. I wanted to be included. I wasn't on their approved list, is how it felt. But all along, they were clearly showing me who they were. Clearly showing me what they were capable of. But here was the problem with me. The picture in my head just wanted something different. I wanted them to be different, something that was not them, like they weren't able to do, they weren't able to deliver. But the picture in my head said, they need to be like this. They should be like this. They play this role in my life. They need to play this role this way. I had it all in my head, the picture in my head. It's supposed to be this way. Have you ever felt like that? It's wrong. I had fake expectations. Fake means make believe, fabricated, unreal, invented. It wasn't clearly who they were. It was who I wanted them to be. I needed them to be. I conjured up a picture in my mind so I could feel okay about myself. And really, I was expecting them to complete the part of me that was lacking. Make the part of me that felt unlovable to know I was lovable. I was expecting them to fulfill a role in my life, like in TV shows or movies where there's a happily ever after. Dreams and fantasies do come true. Anyway, I don't know what your love language is. I don't know if you've heard about love languages or you read the book, but it talks about how people experience love in their love language in a greater way. For example, here's the 5 love languages. Some people really feel loved on when you give them gifts or tokens of affection. Some people feel more loved on with quality time together. Some people feel more loved when they experience physical touch from someone. Someone else may feel very loved by words of affirmation. Or number 5, acts of service. And my highest one is quality time together. I always choose just spending time with someone, quality time. And so I don't know what your love language is. I have a link in the blog that you can click on and you can find out what your love language is. But maybe that's part of the problem. You're not getting your love language fulfilled and they're giving you gifts and you're like, I don't want gifts, I just want quality time. That would make me feel loved. And so it's just perhaps that. But to expect a person to be what you need them to be and not who they really are is unrealistic and self-centered and damaging. It never occurred to me that what I was doing was actually my problem. I only saw how they were not fulfilling the role I needed them to play in my life for me to be okay. Are you starting to get the picture down? Here's a quote by Bruce Lee. It's really great. It's what we're talking about. And Bruce Lee, quote, says this: I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you're not in this world to live up to mine. Bam. So anyway, we're going to talk about what's the solution to having great expectations, not fake expectations. Number one, accept and love yourself completely, who you are with all your strengths and struggles. Because when you're able to completely accept and love yourself, where you are, how you are, and who you are, then you're not going to be looking for someone else to fulfill that for you. You'll be satisfied within your own heart and mind, and giving yourself what you hope from others. You're giving that to yourself. You're loving yourself. Mine is quality time. What quality time can I give to myself? Can I be doing to build my own self up? Build me up spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So accepting and loving yourself completely is the first solution that I have to having great expectations. Number 2, and this is very obvious, but to me it just wasn't, is that accept other people for who they are and how they are. That if there is any part of you that feels like you need to change them, like that is futile, that is wrong, that can't be done. The only person you can change is yourself. But when you understand that people behave out of what they know, their unique personality, their strengths and weaknesses, values, beliefs, unrelated to you, completely unrelated, it's just them, you'll be more apt to not take it personally, and you'll see them for who they really are and let go of perfectionistic expectations. You'll grasp that people behave out of reflection of their own hearts, not a reflection of you. You'll be able to go, that's them, and separate that. This is me. Does that make sense? Number 3, love your neighbor as yourself. The Bible talks a lot about love, and I find this verse quite fitting for this occasion. I see the point more clearly in this post in that it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to love others if we don't have love within ourselves first. As we accept who we truly are, flaws and all, we are more willing to accept others for who they truly are, flaws and all. And that's verse Mark 12:31. The second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. No other commandment is greater than these. And the first one is love God. So if you haven't put it together, great expectations are really true and realistic expectations because they don't set you up for a fall. Understanding that people behave out of a reflection of their own heart, not as a reflection of me or you, has freed me up from the trap of feeling like I can't win, or I need to earn their love, like I need to earn that desired behavior that I want from them. But at the same time, I understand now that my own response is actually a reflection of my own heart. And so if I'm feeling rejected, if I'm feeling discouraged or frustrated or down, that is to do with me. That's not on them. That's on me. Have you ever felt rejected? Have you ever felt like a victim, or you've tried to earn or win love in relationships? Do you need others to act a certain way so that you know that you're loved or lovable? These are all you problems. You problems. And the person who's best and most qualified for the job is you, is me. There's only one you, and you is all you have in your life. It's better to learn to love her or him well. And I started with God. The greatest source of love is God himself. In the Bible, it says God is love himself. And out of his love for me and knowing that I'm created by him because he wanted to create me, he chose me and loves me completely, I've needed to dive into his word, dive into believing, like setting that as my foundation. And I haven't achieved it entirely yet, that I feel so greatly loved all the time and I'm, confident all the time, but I am actively working on this. I am actively working on the solutions that I listed, which was accept and love yourself completely, number 1. Number 2, accept other people for who and how they are, and to love your neighbor as yourself. It starts with you, and then you can love others. And really, for me, it starts with God. Anyway, thanks for giving it a listen. And if you found this post helpful, drop me a comment. I would love to hear from you. And please share it with someone that you care about. Anyway, fully loved, fully accepted, free from expectation. Have a good one.